Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, last night I made a video, Attitude Era, 13 things that sucked, just talking about some of the shit that sucked in the Attitude Era. Nobody really countered anything that I said. It was mostly, oh, you're wrong, fuck you, PG sucks, Attitude Era, the bet. So just, childish, immature, sheep-like mentality of love for the Attitude Era and blind hatred towards the PG era. Now, what y'all don't understand there is the Attitude Era had its good moments, but it had lots of shit. PG era had shit, but it also had good moments. And in some ways, the PG era is better than the Attitude Era. I got 10 reasons here why, and I could probably write another 50 if I really put my mind to it. Okay? So 10 things that are better in today's era, with a couple of little bonus points or statements at the end. Number one, the matches are more athletic and organized in the modern era. Okay? In the Attitude Era, it was a bit more hardcore, depending which match. You'd have more dangerous moves, but the match quality was shit most times. It was just brawling with not that many moves. The moves would be, like fucking spinning cartwheel kicks or whatever, big boots, spinning wheel kicks it was called there. Lots of shit like this, always the same type of moves. Nowadays, it's more athletic, more organized, more well made. Back then, you'd have 2-minute matches with DQs. I think overall, the wrestling is more athletic today than it was back then. It's just safer nowadays, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Number two, overall, I think the roster is more talented today than it was back then. Back then, you had a couple of cool guys. They'd hit each other with cookie sheets made out of tinfoil or whatever. They'd hit each other with obvious fake props and shit. But today, wrestling-wise, the wrestlers, especially the young NXT guys and the Ring of Honor wrestlers, they completely surpass the Attitude guys, like wrestling-wise. It's not even in the same category. And y'all know it's the truth. Number three, Daniel Bryan would get bigger reactions than all of the Attitude Era guys combined. Steve Austin, look at his big moments. Look at Rock's big moments. They'd get cheers, yes, but Daniel Bryan's cheers were fucking loud. People were walking down the street going yes, yes, yes for miles. Did Steve Austin ever get reactions like that? No. What? No, he did not. Oh, you didn't know? Well, now you know, bitch. Number four, more intelligent promos in the PG era. In the Attitude Era, beer, penis. That would get a cheap reaction. Oh, yeah, penis, yeah. But today, example, guys like CM Punk cuts a promo, not relying on swearing or ass or talking about penises, none of that. And he was appearing on TV shows, news shows, talking about his promo. That's because he's talented, real talent, not just relying on penis jokes, but a guy who could cut real motherfucking promos. Zeb Coulter, cutting promos. He was appearing on a bunch of news shows because they thought he was damaging America. shit like this. It's because it's done well, done more in a realistic style. You understand? Triple H talking shit against Daniel Bryan. Myself, okay, and millions of fans were fucking raging at Triple H because we thought that he was trying to sabotage him in real life. That's how good some of the promos can be in the Attitude Era. You didn't get it in the PG Era. You didn't get that during the Attitude Era. You had obvious fake promos about beer and penises. Doesn't fucking compare. Number 5, the streak was more important in the PG era. Taker's matches were way better in the fucking PG era WrestleManias. The streak meant a lot more during this era. Number 6, more realistic. You didn't have people fighting in cemeteries and shit like this there. Just more realistic. No one man beating up 50 guys. Shit like this. It's more down to earth and realistic. Number 7, the PG era provides a safer environment for the wrestlers. Guys are going to say Attitude was better because it was hardcore, and it wasn't hardcore every night. It wasn't hardcore, super badass every night. That's just bullshit, okay? But some matches were more hardcore. You had pile drivers, and you had wrestlers with concussions and broken necks back then. So was it really better? You know, if wrestlers were dying young and breaking their necks, obviously it wasn't better. You know, nowadays you still have hardcore matches that can be just as good as a 2-minute hardcore Holly fucking shitty hardcore match from the Attitude Era. Some of the hardcore matches today will be even better quality wise. They're just done safer. And again, with the safer environment, you don't have steroids today in WWE. Wrestlers don't have to wrestle injured like they did in the Attitude Era. Number 8, the product today is more classy, more presentable. People think, oh, if it's not a storyline of Big Boss Man driving with the casket of the Big Show, then the storyline sucks. You know, that's bullshit. The storylines today aren't as psycho as the Attitude Era, but you still get good, interesting storylines. If you're all watching to see Cena get beat and you're like this watching it, you want to see Cena get beat up, obviously you're into the storyline. You're just too afraid to admit it. I mean, really. Okay? The shit is classier today. It's better for the children. And, you know, people, oh, fuck this stuff. Not everybody thinks like you that the Attitude Era is the best. You have guys that were watching wrestling in the 50s and 60s and 70s. They're going to tell you that the Attitude Era sucked compared to the wrestling that they watched way before our time or whatever. You got fans who think that the PG era is the best, so don't claim that you're a true wrestling fan, making it sound like everybody else is beneath you and that all true wrestling fans only care about the Attitude Era. That is bullshit and it's delusional. Okay? Number 9. We all know that Big John Cena, even though he's forced to be PG there, we all know that Big John Cena could kick the shit out of Steve Austin in real life. John Cena's arms are big like this. He's strong like a fucking gorilla. Steve Austin just pretended to be a rebel. If Cena would fight him in the real fight, he would fucking kill him, and you know it. And Cena sells, you know, just as much merch as Austin. if he didn't surpass him yet, eventually he's going to do it. And number 10, the fans are better. The fans nowadays are more laid back. You know, they have a sense of humor. They go there just to enjoy themselves. Imagine fans from the Attitude Era, what they would look like today. Wearing a t-shirt, suck my dick, and it points to their penis. Going like this, tuck it, tuck it. You know, if y'all would do that today, you'd look like fucking straight up retards and shit. You'd look like morons that laugh at fart jokes and shit like this. You'd look like morons and white trash. I mean, really. Okay. Couple of little bonus points there. The Attitude Era had higher ratings, like I said, but then it fucking crashed big time, which is why McMahon had to go PG. You know, Attitude Era, ruthless aggression, the shit was going down the toilet. They went PG, and now the company is stable. They have the WWE network. They got sponsors. They're making lots of cash there. So they had to go PG. But yeah, they had high ratings during the Attitude Era. In the PG era, they had the highest gross in WrestleMania, dog. So there you go. In the Attitude Era, you had Austin, McMahon, which was awesome, but it was mostly that made the entire Attitude Era. PG era had shit like Triple H and Bryan. Maybe not as cool, but it seemed more real to me. I fucking thought the shit was real almost, that Triple H wanted to bury him for real. So it was done well, and it was an exciting year of wrestling. And WrestleMania 30 was beyond epic, with Bryan facing Triple H, then winning the belt in the end. You know, y'all can't say that the PG era sucks, because it has great moments in it. The PG era also had hardcore matches, like I said, and it also had crazy moments, like CM Punk with Paul Bearer's ashes. So I didn't like that, but you had sicko shit here and there as well. In the PG era, if that's the only thing you care about, you had some of it. The PG era has quality comedy moments. You know, in the Attitude Era, you had funny moments, but it was always revolving around gay shit or penis jokes. In today's era, you have lots of good, funny moments, like, Rusev kicking that soldier in the face on the last Raw. You know, very fucking funny, you understand? You have Bo Dallas, like a month ago, he's running around the ring. He bumps the midget. I was laughing my fucking ass off. Fucking hilarious. Miz or Damien Sandow as Magneto, fucking super hilarious. They don't need penis jokes. It might not be naked women getting spanked or whatever, but when you get a good comedy moment in the PG era, it's gonna be quality, and it doesn't have to rely on shit tactics to be funny. And pretty much, yeah, the modern era saved wrestling. Like I said, the ratings were fucking going down. No matter how hard you try to praise, you know, hardcore wrestling or whatever, if it wasn't for the PG era, if they didn't clean up, the ratings would have went even lower, and the company might not even exist today. What do you think they changed? If it was so awesome, if it was so great, then it would be like that today. It's because the ratings were fucking tanking. If the ratings were tanking big time for TV 14 wrestling, then you know, if it was so awesome, the ratings wouldn't have tanked like that. They did the PG switch because it was the right thing to do for business. So in many ways, the PG era is in fact better than the Attitude Era. And if y'all can't handle that, well, not my fucking problem. Till next time, peace.